What's up guys, it's Drac, and this is the Nerf Accustrike Quadrant. Now, a 4-shot revolver of sorts and single action pistol. This is not a bad blaster. It is more expensive than it needs to be, but it's not that bad. I actually like it very much from an ergonomics perspective, which means that it's worth cracking open for a good old-fashioned Springer style modification guide. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so inside the quadrant we have what we imagined, a very simple pistol with a rotating turret up top. We can probably remove this entire assembly, assuming, there we are, that is how it is. Now this is a perfect candidate for an old school removal of dart posts, and we will actually take the AR out of this, like again, old school modding. The rotation mech for this is very interesting. It's this giant piece up here is actually the sear that this is interacting with every time you prime it back. So that's pretty cool. I don't think that we're gonna have to fool with the catch too terribly much. We will almost certainly not be I was about to say almost certainly be replacing the spring, but the way that these plunger heads are designed nowadays, it is very difficult to get a new spring onto these things without destroying the plunger head. And honestly, just not worth it. We're going to remove this piece, and we might even be able to do it pretty clean and easily in this case. We'll come in and we'll cut out this back end to open up the airflow, and that should be really easy. This spring here is what's pushing the seal up against the blaster, which would optimize performance. That's actually very nice. I used to wish that we had something like that back in the Maverick days. So how this works normally is that when a dart is inside, the dart pushes back onto this, opening up the airflow and allowing you to fire. When there isn't a dart, it closes this valve to dampen the spring pushing the plunger forward, and that allows that to function. So we're going to remove that entirely. It will reduce the lifespan of the blaster, but this is what people are referring to whenever they talk about ARs or air restrictors. Let's go. Alrighty, so you guys can see here that this has been completely dart post removed. It does not allow you to seat the darts further, so it might not even be worth doing. It opens up a small amount of airflow, but it is a real pain in making my workbench here pretty messy. However, I did that with a combination of my drill and then tapping with a pseudo chisel of a flathead screwdriver and a dead blow hammer, and I eventually turned our little smiley emoji into some sort of carnaged massacre face. That's kind of sad now that I'm like looking at the difference between this dude and this dude. But it is what it is. I'm going to do that 3 more times, and then I'm going to reassemble the blaster, not changing out this spring because, again, like I said, the spring is already quite sufficient, and it would be instilling fragility into the system to remove this plunger head so that I could slip something slightly more powerful on. So we're gonna go with it how it is. I think that it'll be pretty good, and we will determine if it was a worthwhile performance upgrade after the fact. Here you can also see that this is a completely straight shot down through the barrel. We've removed all of the flak that we can get at. There's still a few pieces here from where we were drilling, but those will not get in the way. So this is now a clean shot, and we have barrels that are clean shots. So this is going to be a very interesting new take on the system. Let's go. I do just want to point out two things, one of which is very innovative and neat, and one of which is very unfortunate and backwards in my opinion. So it's neat that the trigger has no trigger return spring. Instead, it has these little plasticky antenna bits that force it to retract. So they go up like this, and then the combination of this pushing up and this pushing back, as well as just the general springiness of these, pushes it back into its resting place. That is pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, I also have to point out this. There's a channel in here which allows this funky rotation mech to work because it's actually the plunger head that's actuating that system, but it's unfortunate because it's literally cut down half of the effective plunger length here. Like, sure, you prime all the way back to here, but then you're really only getting half of your plunger volume pushing the dart out, and that is unfortunate and might have something to do with the inherent performance issues of this in the first place. Nevertheless, let's reassemble it, get it back together, and show you what it does now that it's been modified. Alrighty guys, so this is my modified quadrant. Let's go ahead and load it up with a couple of Accustrike darts and a couple of wet zombie strike darts, courtesy of the Rev Reaper. Let's go ahead and prime and fire. Wow. So, truth be told, I think that this is actually performing worse. I think that it has become less efficient in its delivery of air to darts, and I think that it's important to note when stuff like that happens. Like, I do not think that a traditional AR removal is ideal for a blaster like this any longer. Like, it definitely logically seemed like the thing to do to what was a somewhat underpowered pistol, but we are not getting the results that I expected out of this, and I would rather tell you guys that honestly. Yeah, that's embarrassingly bad, than have anybody else try to modify this blaster in the same way. So wow. I will go so far as to say that I don't think that we did anything wrong necessarily, like using the knowledge that we had, but I can tell you right now that the quadrant should not be modified in exactly this fashion. It seems like it's just not delivering power efficiently to the darts at all. And I don't know. I mean, that pretty much sums this one up. So this is my mod guide for the quadrant. For some reason, it fired 6 darts, but now it is firing them not at all. So not that I've lost my touch or anything, but Hasbro has made these significantly less easy to modify and get improved performance out of. So as unfortunate as that might be, this is not performing in the way that I expected it to. So I would not recommend modifying your Accustrike Quadrant, and since it cannot be modified for higher power easily, in my opinion, I'm downgrading this one to a don't buy. I would actually not pick up the Quadrant. There are more powerful pistols in stock form, and the primary advantages of this platform are not translating, for me personally, over into this modification. So I'd give this one a pass. I just don't think that it's worth the hassle or the trouble. Cool though it may look and spinny though it may be, this one is not getting a thumbs up. So again, like, I'm going to launch this video in its complete form. I want you guys to know exactly what I did so that if somebody does choose to modify this blaster for improved performance, they can do a better job. But for me right now, this is not worth the hassle. Will it fire this waffle tip at point blank? LOL, nope. All right, well, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you guys can appreciate that, in fact, Pobody's Nerfict, and I will see you next time. Much love, Nerf on, Drac out.